Right, hello, lads and lasses, and welcome back to Boys Down Under. And I am going to gas myself up. I'm going to gas myself up to the point where I can no longer gas myself no more. Because not only did I get the score prediction right in the preview show, saying it's going to be it's going to be a tough game, Celtic are going to dominate and win 3-1, but what I also got right is the man who would score for Hibernian, Mr. Martin Boyle. He got the only goal for Hibs, and I said in that preview, if you want to go back and watch it, Martin Boyle is the danger man, and he's going to be the man, if anyone will, to crack open the Celtic defence, albeit it was from a corner, but nonetheless, 3-1 plus a goal scorer. Like, if that doesn't convince you to subscribe to this channel, I don't know what will. But that's enough of gassing myself up. We're going to talk about Celtic today. We're going to talk about the game and talk about things that we now know from the game and things that we can take away from it, the important part. So, without further ado, let's get into it. And I cannot lie. When I saw Celtic running onto that pitch, getting ready for the huddle, and I saw them wearing last year's third kit, oh dear, I had my head in my hands. It gave me flashbacks to last year at Easter Road, that narrow 2-2 draw. I just saw it as a bad omen. I didn't see it as any other thing than a bad omen. But obviously, it just wasn't a bad omen at all. Because Celtic were amazing. I think these match reactions are just my favourite parts of the week, favourite parts of Celtic now, because they just keep getting better and better. And because I'm just able to let all the happiness out, let all the good thoughts I have about Celtic out, and the way they're playing at the moment, I've just got nothing negative to talk about. Maybe a month ago, it was all doom and gloom, but nowadays, it's all sunshines, lollipops, and rainbows, if you know what I mean. It's absolutely harmonious at Celtic. I've got too many adjectives to describe Celtic at the moment. It's great. And the greatest thing, I think, from the game was that first half, or the first 30 minutes. That was pure, utter dominance. We had Hibernian, a very, very good team, looking like kindergarteners running around aimlessly for a soft toy, right? They paid the price for running around for that soft toy as well, because they went 3-0 down in 30 minutes. 2 goals from set pieces we scored. I don't think Celtic had scored a set piece all season, let alone 2. Because all my days, like when Celtic are scoring set pieces, that something is up. And something was definitely up in this match, because you could feel it in the air. It was going to be a very, very good game for Celtic. And look, the first was a lovely, lovely header from Ralston, a diving header, very Larson-esque. At the back post, got himself completely unmarked, and all he had to do was direct it into the back of the net. That was a great free kick from David Turnbull. Then the second one, another assist for Turnbull, throws it in from a corner, and then Karnavikas gets on the end of it. A lovely little volley, sneaks its way into the back of the net. The keeper probably should have done a million times better, but I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. It's in the back of the net. Who would? And look, even Starfelt, he almost got on the score sheet. He had a header saved from the Hibs goalie in the second half, I believe. But when we're scoring set piece goals, something's in the air, and something is certainly in the air at Celtic at the moment. Now, the third goal, Tom Rogic, take a bow. If your hamstring will let you, please take a bow, because that was pure and absolute class from the Wizard. He literally performed a wizardry on that pitch. He left 3 or 4 defenders not knowing what to do, what to think about them, because they had just been embarrassed. They had just been embarrassed by the Wizard of Oz. Now, he is a wizard and he does have godlike powers, but no player on the football pitch should be embarrassed like they were by Tom Rogic. And he just played a lovely death ball through to Jota, squares it across goal, and then you've got Kyogo, as you'd like it, open net, open in, no defenders near him, taps it in. Celtic go 3-0 up on the half hour. And the fact that Kyogo and Jota linked up for a goal, that is amazing. That's just one of the happiest moments, seeing them two link up for goals, because them two are going to be the core for Celtic going forward this year. And look, I do hope Rogic is okay, because you could see it. His hamstring, he pulled up with it. He certainly felt something in his hamstring, and said after the match he felt something in his hamstring, and that can indicate a pulled hamstring, or even worse, a torn hamstring later on. And that could see him out from anywhere from 3 weeks to 3 months. So look, And you can see the impact Rogic has on the team, because as the second half came in, Rogic wasn't on the pitch, and Celtic lost a lot of that attacking spark that we had in the first half. And Hibs noticed that, recognised that, and after they got their goal in the first half, they came out in the second half guns blazing. And they really, really took it to Celtic. I have to commend them for it. That second half from Hibs was much better than the first half. It set up a really interesting match of football in that second half, but it just wasn't to be for them at Easter Road. And look, continuing on into the second half, look, they certainly improved. And there was this one moment after Celtic had withstood so much pressure. Joe Hart, I believe. No, not Joe Hart, I believe. Moon. I can't remember the Hibs winger's name, but he went one-on-one with Joe Hart. He took an extra touch, and Joe Hart recognised that, got right up in front of him, made him huge, made him look like a huge presence, a force in front of the Hibs winger, and he blocked the shot. And it came at such a crucial time for Celtic, because if they score that, they go 3-2 down, or they're 3-2 down with 10 minutes to go. It's fate could have been on the other hand if that goal had gone in. Look, the most important thing though is that Celtic did walk away with 3 points, and we have some key points to discuss from that match. There's a lot of points to discuss from the match, because Celtic, they were good. They were extremely good. If you haven't understood yet, they were really, really good, especially for that first 30 minutes. And I feel it could have been going 4 or 5 goals even. Turnbull could have put a couple away if Rogic stayed on the pitch as well. But that's football. Not everything goes your way, but a lot did today. And look, we have some key points to discuss from the match, and obviously all these points will be very positive, because I literally have nothing to criticise from that match. The only thing I could criticise from the football that was on display was that there was a very suspicious penalty call at Ibrox, but this is a Celtic channel, so we're going to talk about Celtic nonetheless. And the first point is the biggest point. Only 2 points separate Celtic from the top of the table. The gap is now 2, and that we've leapfrogged Dundee United and Hart, who both drew their matches this morning, and it shows it's just so great to see that we are now 2 points off the top of the table, and potentially, if results go our way this weekend, we could easily, well, not easily, but we would, if results go our way this weekend, we could end the week on top of the table. It would be absolutely amazing. And look, it just shows the progress we've made. I think we came in to this period of football after the international break sitting in 6th place and on, how many points? 13 points, I believe it was. We went 3 from 3 in the league, and that's taken us to 22 points and sitting 2nd. We have a goal difference of 19, which is 10 better than the next best. We have 7 goals conceded, which is the equal best in the league, and we've scored 26 goals this season, which is 7 better than the next best team. Celtic are absolutely roaring. It is incredible football from Celtic, and Ange Ball has got this team playing amazing, amazing football, and it's got our team playing so well. And like I said earlier, if results go our way, we could see ourselves on top of the table. I'm not going to get ahead of myself and say we are going to be on top of the table at the end of the week, but I do expect Celtic to be on that top in the very near future. Now, so the second point I need to make is about Joe Hart. Now, when you're a keeper at Celtic, in a league matches, you're never really called much into action. You're usually just there for the goal kicks, right? Yeah, for the goal kicks and to clean up some balls on the heart, unlike maybe when it gets cleared from a corner and those sort of things. Now, last year, what happened is that it would be the same thing. Celtic would hold a lot of possession and the keepers weren't called into much, bar Bain, but when they were called into action, they did not perform. Every single slight opening and chance oppositions got, they took, and you could just tell when oppositions were attacking us last season, you expected it to be a goal because you knew if they get past the last defender, they're 1-on-1. It's 9 times out of 10, and that's going in the back of the net. But today with Joe Hart, you just saw the class he has and the class he brings to Celtic, because yet again, 2 or 3 really good chances for Hibs. One goes in the back of the net, then there's 2 saves. There's one directly after we go 1-0 up. Joe Hart makes a save there, and if we concede there, it's 1-0. The outlook of the game could be completely different. And the second save, the one I talked on earlier, is the one where The winger goes one-on-one with Joe Hart and he makes himself look huge, saves it, the ball goes out for a corner, fans erupt, the away end erupts, the players rejoice. It was a huge moment because if that goes in with 10 minutes to go, Hibs would have had so much momentum. They would have only been 1 goal behind. They have the home fans cheering them on. They've got newfound momentum. It could have been a completely different game, and it could have been a result that didn't reflect the game and didn't reflect Celtic and didn't reflect how we absolutely dominated them and deserved to win. But I guess you can't say ifs, buts, and maybes because we got the 3 points, and that's all that matters. Now, the second point about Joe Hart I want to make is that despite him being such a class footballer and class goalkeeper, he is an absolute leader. Now, I read this statement about his leadership on a YouTube comment or maybe on Instagram somewhere, and I completely agree with it. It goes something like, Joe Hart is that old, experienced leader that this Celtic team needed in the absence of Bruni. And it's true, because while Callum McGregor is a great captain for this club, he isn't really like, I guess you could say, he isn't like that kind of old head, calm, wise head, which Joe Hart brings, because Joe Hart's been in this game for so long. He's been playing professional football for so long. And while Callum McGregor does have experience, he doesn't have the levels of experience Joe Hart does. Joe Hart's played in the best league in the world, the Premier League. Well, second best, we'll say. And look, even it's clear in the playing squad the influence he has on the younger players. And Mikey Johnston mentioned it earlier this week. He said he credited Joe Hart when recovering from his injury to just keep pushing on, keep his head up, and keep striving to be the best player he can. He's a role model, and he's someone Celtic sorely needed in their team. And I'm so happy that we signed him. £1 million, bargain for him, honestly. Now, the third and final point I want to make, that is that this is just the beginning of the rebuild. Bring on what is next, because this team at the beginning of the season was an absolute shit show. You didn't know who was leaving. You didn't know who was staying. The team wasn't playing to their best ability. They weren't playing as a unit. They were playing as individuals. There was no depth in the squad. Injuries absolutely ravaged the whole playing team. It was a shit show. And what Ange has accomplished in the 4 months he's been here is absolutely incredible. He's got this team playing better and better each week. Now that he's got a fit squad, playing week in, week out, the sky's the limit with this team, because you look at who we've got players returning. You got Julien returning, who's an absolute asset to this team. Jamesy Forrest, who brings a lot of experience to this team and a different play style up front, and it is a good player to have when you've got players like Mikey and Abada, really young and not really experienced. James Forrest is a really great player to bring on or to start matches in which you need calm, wiser, more experienced players. And look, the thing is, we've still got a whole nother transfer window before the season ends. We've got a whole nother transfer window next season. Like I said, this is just the beginning of the rebuild, and the levels we've hit, I am so gassed to see what is next in store for the club and for the players. Hopefully there's many more years of this Ange Postecoglou era. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it's really hard not to when the team's playing this well. And the sky's the limit. Not even. Our potential is limitless. But that is all from me. So remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop your comments below of what you thought about the game. And I guess that is it. So, until next time, hail, hail.